welcome back. My name is Jane, and today we're greenlighting my day. It's going to take three verses. Yeah, it's one of those days where it's a three quote day. But anyways, these quotes come from a book called Smile Anyway: Quotes, Verse, and Grumblings for Every Day of the Year by a woman named Richelle E. Goodrich. She mainly writes children's books, fantasies, um, but I really loved some of her thoughts in this book. So let's start with a grumbling, because Sally's always apologizing about how she has a hard time getting inspired and starting her day. But the truth is that that's how a lot of us are. I mean, that's the whole point with Greenlight, right? Because I mean, it's rare that we wake up and the sun is shining straight out of our eyes. Sometimes we have to kickstart ourselves, and lately I've really needed a kickstart. I really needed to green light because life gets a little complicated sometimes, and in the complication, I don't know about you, but when things get complicated, I sometimes feel like I'm slipping. I'm slipping from my place in the world, what I know to be my place in the world. And even though sometimes that's how it should be because it's about change, other times it's like I feel it's just a test. It's just a test. It's only a test, and I'm just gonna have to grit my teeth and get through it. And here's the first quote. Closing your eyes won't make the awfulness go away. It may be that nothing will, but dwelling on it, dreading the evil, playing out the misery in your head, doesn't this feed the monster? You can't close your eyes to life, but you can choose where your gaze lingers. So, with this particular quote, how I feel the truth in it. I think that it's like another way of saying we are what we think. And I have found that the times that I struggle the most in how I think, and where my gaze lingers is where I'm not centering myself on what I think and what I feel, but I'm worried about what other people are thinking and feeling, kind of like when when you first start a relationship and you're um, always wondering, gosh, I really like this person. I wonder, do they like me? And that uncertainty that happens, in the beginning before you just accept whatever the situation is, that I think sometimes that feeling of insecurity um, is something that we feel about a lot of things, our jobs, our families, our friendships. We get stuck in that place where we're insecure, but I think sometimes we have to stop and breathe and think, what is it that we want? Why are we thinking about that? Why are we giving this other person so much power? We know how we feel. We know what we want. And that should be enough. And there should just be peace in that. And how we choose to act and react is all on us. We have personal power. And sometimes we need to remember that, remind ourselves we have personal power. And the second quote is it's an unfortunate fact that I'm easily discouraged. But the fortunate truth is I'm stubborn as hell and near impossible to sway in my resolve. Now, I absolutely love this quote. I thought it was hysterical because I think, well, I'm going to speak for myself. For me, I don't know if I would say that I'm easily discouraged, but when I'm not in a place of where I feel like I know what I'm doing, or um, where I'm unsure, what am I doing? Where is this taking me? Why? Why am I pursuing this? Um, I can get easily discouraged when I don't know the whys. When I behave in a way that's not mindful, or where my goal is unclear. Like, what am I wanting from this? It's easy for me to be discouraged in those times. But I like where she says, but the fortunate truth is that I'm stubborn as hell and near impossible to sway in my resolve. So once I know what I'm doing, I feel like she gets me. Because once I know what I'm doing and where I want to go, you know, I know what I want to do. I know what I want, and I can go for it, and I'm focused for it. And there's security and balance, that I get from that. And then my final quote, or her final quote: gratitude paints little smiley faces on everything it touches. you know, Life has been a little difficult around here. We've had some losses in my family. Um, my home, we've been in mourning for the last couple of weeks. Um, you know, Living a life without another person, a person that, is anything, whether it's a death, a breakup. We go through a time of mourning, and we go through a time of learning to live life without that other person. It's not the easiest of things in life. It's not. Everybody goes around life talking about their plus one, but sometimes we have a minus one. And learning to create a life without the minus one, or learning to create a life with a minus one. That's a challenge sometimes. But I have found for myself that gratitude has always been the doorway to joy for me. If I get in a place where I start feeling uncomfortable or stuck or unhappy with my choices or my situation, I go back to gratitude. And I think of everything that I'm grateful for in my life right now. Everything. Now, it may not be a perfect life. It may not be the life that I dreamed of or, wished for, but it's the life I made. I created this life with my choices, by my choices. Nobody did this to me. I put myself here. And so I find the things that I am grateful for, the things that led me to being here. Why am I here? Well, because of this and this and this and this, right? I made these choices, so I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be always grateful for the people in my life, for my family. Um, there's a writer named Joseph Campbell that talks about following your bliss, and it's really beautiful. You can find it on Google. Um, I personally have found that my following my bliss means taking into account my family's bliss. I can't be happy. I cannot build happiness on their unhappiness, And this is just something that I've learned through life. There's choices that I made along the way, as from a young person to now, that all have made me realize that you cannot, for me, I cannot build happiness on somebody else's unhappiness. And so I'm just, today, as I greenlight my day, I'm going to be mindful and grateful for the things that are wonderful in my life, and for the things that are challenging me, because I'm being challenged right now. I'm going to tell you, I'm being challenged right now. But that must mean that God wants me to grow up. There's something, He's working on my life for a reason. And I'm just going to be still and pay attention and learn the lesson, and spend the rest of the day and the week and the month and the year being grateful, so that it leaves smiley faces wherever I go. So I hope anyways that you all choose to greenlight your day, that whatever situation you're finding yourself in, even if it's a hard one, that you can get back to joy by walking through the door of gratitude. Um, we all have something, even the smallest thing, to be grateful for. And we need to hold on to that and hold on to it tight, because sometimes life makes us feel lost and it beats us up, like we're in a tornado. But if we hold on to that, once the storm's gone, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. See you later. Bye.